So, thank you very much.
Marcus, welcome to the show. Clearly, the decision proves that they are backing the Lucknow team. Lucknow Super Giants are backing you as one of their key players and leader and all-rounder. Your first thoughts on IPL 2022?
Yeah, thanks, Boria. Look, firstly, it's been a little bit in the making. We've been speaking for a couple of months, and it's a privilege to, like you said, be chosen in these first couple of, or out of the first three players to represent Lucknow. And a privilege to be a part of the new franchise and help to be trusted to build a culture with this team. Obviously, Sanjeev Goenka has, purchased this new team for a good amount of money, and it's nice to be trusted and to feel part of that inner sanctum straight away.
Okay, and in your case, you have had a great BBL, Big Bash record, good IPL record, very good Australia record. So you come with a lot of sort of unique skill sets and achievements. How are you looking at this role? Because clearly you are being entrusted with a kind of leadership role, and that is evident from the signing. How are you looking at being one of the key people in that team?
Yeah, look, I think all the good teams I've played in through my career, it started with the environment, and the environment you build and that's from the top up, whether it's support staff, whether it's assistant coaches, captains, overseas players. The culture is very important. And so I think the opportunity there to help shape a culture of a brand new team, this hasn't been done for, I think, 11 years now. So that's one of the most exciting parts for me personally. And yeah, so you work with the people around you, you work with the owners, with the coaches, and you get an idea of the vision that they want to create. And then as a player, an overseas player, you then try to accommodate as best you can, and you add your own spin to things, which I'm looking forward to. But you work with the likes of KL Rahul, with the coach Andy Flower, and you all get this big train moving in the right direction.
You played with KL before, because KL was on my show earlier and said that Marcus brings in a lot of energy. He has so much versatility. He has opened, he's batted in the middle order. So he's got a number of different skill sets. Your thoughts on KL Rahul?
Well, KL's been, I think, I'd assume he's the leading run scorer in IPL over the last 4 years, I'd say. And he's now, from when I knew him back at Kings 11, we knew he was a great player. And I think obviously the Indian Cricket Board and the Indian cricket team has seen that he's a great leader as well. And you've seen that in his promotion through the ranks into all formats and into captaining the team in different formats as well. So I think he's got a great reputation. From already what I know about KL, we've known that personally as friends and as players. But I think one of the keys for him is the calm head on his shoulders. He's obviously got a lot of responsibility with this team, and he's been trusted by Sanjeev and the whole organisation. But I think they've picked the right person. I think obviously his cricket speaks for itself, but more importantly, I think he can create a good environment for the team.
Okay, and in your case, Marcus, clearly you opened the batting in the Big Bash, 700 runs in one season, several match-winning innings, including ones recently, but you've also been given the job of a finisher. What do you prefer personally? I mean, is it whatever the team requires? And how do you deal with, these are serious jobs to finish a game for a team, take the team to victory. How do you approach your own game?
Yeah, it's been a work in progress. I think if you asked me 3 years ago, I wanted to open the batting. And I wanted to score the most runs in the comp. I wanted to open the batting, and you wanted to put your stamp on the competition. And then it took coaches like Andrew McDonald, Trent Woodhill here at the Melbourne Stars, a few coaches to sort of show me the other side of finishing the innings and describe to me how impactful that can be for the team and what they're looking for. And then under the tutelage of Ricky in Delhi, he taught me a lot more as well about how to read the game and how to see the different situations. So definitely over the last 3 years, 2 in particular, batting in that middle order and finishing role has probably become where I see my biggest value. And my type of character, like I want to influence the game. I want to be there at the end. I want to take responsibility. So I think it suits pretty well.
And do you feel the pressure of that? Because clearly a new franchise, IPL, one of the most watched leagues in the world, high pressure situation. How do you deal with, clearly as the leader, 24 runs of the last 2? Do you feel the pressure, or is it a challenge? How do you approach such situations?
Yeah, that's well put. I think you do feel the pressure and you quickly switch it. I think the mindset to have is to see the challenge, see the opportunity to win the game. I think when you look back and you think about the best batsmen that have been in that role, and even last year I spoke to multiple different players that bat in that role, whether it was Hardik Pandya, so you understand that you got to see those situations as an opportunity to win the game. I spoke to Dhoni a lot about it after one of our games where he actually beat Delhi nearly single-handedly at the end in one of the semi-final. And he spoke to me about the routines he goes through, how he sees the game, how he controls his breath, how he manages his emotions. So there's a lot that goes into it, and you learn from players, you learn from coaches. And then when you get in the middle, it's about you controlling this.
I'm interested in this Dhoni thing because he's such an enigma for all of us. Can you give me a little bit more on this?
Well, I don't know if he's such a. I feel bad sometimes if I'm speaking for him, but I'll relay sort of the crux of what we spoke about. And he just sort of said to me, the way you've got to approach it is looking to be there at the end and take responsibility. There's different ways to do it, and to try and score the runs early and finish the game in the 18th over. But he said the risk that he feels is you leave that to someone else then if you get out. And he said you build that relationship with your team, with the people batting around you, and different players understand their different roles throughout the game. And for him, it's to be there at the end and to take ownership and to, I guess almost, you could speak even, this isn't from him, just the whole crowd, the opposition, everyone's thinking when Dhoni's at the ground, this game's not over, or that he's in control, or that somehow this is going to plan, even though it might not be, and it needs 20 off the last over. You sort of think, well, maybe he meant this. And I think that is part of the art that he's produced, and he can have that influence over a big amount of people. And then he spoke about how he remains calm. And so the fact that if he's remaining calm, he doesn't need to get calmer, he doesn't need to be better, but in those situations, other people are panicking or other people are moving this way, and he's just staying where he is. So he's already getting that competitive advantage. So that was really interesting. And we see certain parts of the game very similar. And I've worked with a lot of good people that have helped me with this similar side of the game. So it's inspirational, though, to hear it from someone that's done it for so long and such a champion of our era of cricket. So that motivates you to, again, enjoy this type of role.
Have you been able to do that? I mean, this whole, it's very, one thing to say that be calm, but when you are, in that position, Australia, some runs away from a world championship, Team Lucknow, some runs away from an IPL playoff spot or whatever it is, big Melbourne Stars, it's difficult to be calm because, you are hundreds and thousands and millions watching a Marcus Stoinis, one hit can do it. How do you do that? I'm interested in that process. What do you do to your body? What do you tell yourself? You've been in that position before, Marcus. What do you do?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's something we get told as kids. You get told, stay calm. whether it's an exam for school, whether it's in a sporting event, it's stay calm, but no one really knows how to stay calm, or no one really gives you the tips to do it. So, look, for me personally, it starts when I put my helmet on, when I walk onto the ground. It starts with my routine. It starts with what I say to myself when I'm walking onto the ground. Then it goes through my breathing and slowing that down and being in control of that. A lot of it is just trying to control the things I can control, because in these games where the run rate's going up, the scoreboard's changing, you're losing wickets, the field's changing, you don't know what the bowler's going to bowl. There's a lot of unknowns. So something that works for me that I've learned from other people, I haven't come up with this myself, but it's about controlling what I can control. But then in the face of the chaos, sometimes you forget to do these things. So these things are practiced at training. These things are practiced with your visualization, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, whether it's breathing, whether it's self-talk, and then routines, and then you got to engage with your partner at the other end, and you try to work with them to do the same thing and to keep each other calm, to keep each other on focus, on point. So yeah, that's my way of going about it, and I've learned that from multiple different people.
I have come to know you fairly well in the last few months, and you come across as this very relaxed, chilled kind of person. But on the field, when you take a wicket, the energy that KL talks about, and that hit for a six and that pumping that KL talks about, or all of us have seen, is a very different Marcus Stoinis. So what is it? Does that help you sort of get into the zone, get into the moment, push yourself? How do you react on and off the field? I'm interested in knowing the two sides of Marcus Stoinis.
Yeah, I guess I learned probably through my younger years of what I wanted to bring, what parts of Marcus Stoinis I wanted to bring on the field, and what parts of Marcus Stoinis don't belong there, sort of thing. And for me, I'm super competitive, but I don't need to be super competitive when I'm at home with my family, or I still need to be when I'm playing golf with my friends. Don't worry about that. But yeah, so there's times where that comes out. And also through cricket, you learn to have to believe in yourself, and your self-talk's very important. And I think often I'm of Greek background as well, so don't forget that. So passion is in the fire, is deep in the belly. But yeah, so often where I'm probably focused on staying calm, and almost as if almost just so laser focused on what I need to do, that when you do win the game, or when you do take a wicket, sometimes this comes out naturally because you've been controlling your emotions for quite a while, that maybe it just bursts out. But also the things that I love best about sport is bringing people together. And the best moments I see in sport, whether it's in AFL back home or soccer, or it's when someone scores a goal, someone does something, and you bring people together. And I think I just love that feeling. And that's been from a young age. But I also think that's what sport's meant to be. It's what's meant to.
Absolutely.
It's meant to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One question I want to know, Marcus, you've played in multiple teams, be it Australia, Delhi, Melbourne. What is it that a new franchise, according to you, needs to do? Because you guys are starting out a journey. Each one of you from different parts of the world will come together for a common goal. But when you're approaching a new team, and if in a position of leadership, one of the top players, what do you think should the formula for a new team be when you guys come together?
Look, I think you learn things from like you said, all the different teams you play in. And for me, even for example, when I look at a team like Chennai, 2 years ago, we played the IPL and they finished last. And the auction got changed, it got delayed, and they weren't allowed to pick up new players. And then the next year rolls around and they've kept the exact same team. Not much has changed, and they go on to win the tournament. And I think that's a nice lesson in sport, is sometimes we get caught chasing our tail. And you got to understand that if you can build the relationships in the environment and trust between each other, which I think is going to be a key for a new franchise, that you are supported, you are backed, that this is, we can work to make this a family, to make this a long-term project where we build something that allows individuals to give more than just thinking about themselves. And I think as a new franchise coming in with no baggage, a fresh start, I think that's the most exciting part, and you've got the opportunity when you get the right people around and the right leadership to create something really special. So
I think that's a very good answer in the Chennai example there. Very, very interesting answer there. Marcus, I think in the IPL at least, you've been underbowled. Do you agree with that? That you've not been used enough or should have been used enough? And how are you approaching your bowling? Because clearly that is something, oftentimes you've had telling impact, 3 wickets, match-winning efforts, but you've still been relatively underbowled. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I think my role in the team is as that extra bowler. So I think it's almost game situation, understanding what's going on. The captain reads the game and uses it to sort of give a chop out in certain scenarios. So I think going forward, I mean, right now I've just been bowling, so it's definitely one of the most important parts for me and adding to this team. So I'm definitely aware that as an all-rounder, and the importance for balance of the team. So look, my intention is to be in the game as much as possible, but it's also up to the captain to read the game, and I respect that, of course. But yeah, if the ball's ever thrown to me, don't worry, I want it.
And this year the IPL will be more exciting, different also for you, Marcus, because soon after the IPL, within a couple of months, you go into the World Cup as defending champion for home soil. Thoughts on that? Yeah,
it's a different experience, I guess, from the last World Cup where we went in as pretty much underdogs and coming off the IPL. So really looking forward to a World Cup in Australia. Australia's been, like everywhere, has been through a tough time, and there hasn't been able to be as many fans at the grounds as we would have liked, and there's been lockdowns and all the rest of it, as you'd know. So to have the World Cup, to be lucky enough to be around when there's a World Cup in your own country, very fortunate, and to be the defending champions means we should get some good support through Australia.
Yeah, I mean, all of us are looking forward to the World Cup because it's one part of the world where hopefully travel restrictions will allow us to go this time, less COVID, and it's a great place to watch cricket. Over the years, what I've seen is some cricketers, David Warner, for example, comes to mind straight away, has been able to make himself at home in India. How about you? How have you treated India? The culture of India, the food, the people, the men, the fans, the whole story of India. How is Marcus Stoinis and India at the moment?
Yeah, you're right, Dave. Someone like David Warner has immersed himself in the culture of India. And look, to an extent, well, personally, but I think a lot of the Australian cricketers, personally, the IPL and what India has done for my cricket has not only changed my life, but it's also changed my cricket career. We're fortunate, I mean, leading into things like the IPL, we've been in our own bubble with our own coaches, with our own mates playing in the same team, whereas the IPL has opened our eyes, I think, to having access to coaches from all over the world in different conditions, from players. I think you learn more from players than you do from anyone else. And then unfortunately, though, over the last couple of years, in terms of culture of India, we haven't been able to be there, or we've been in lockdown, which has been unfortunate. But the fans of Indian cricket are the best in the world. Look, we say that, and we even talk about it when we're playing for Australia and there's a game of the MCG. There's probably 5 to 1 Indian fans than there are to Australian fans here. So, but yes, that is definitely something I'm looking forward to in coming back, and hopefully having the IPL in India this year, and be able to immerse myself in the culture a little more.
I will tell Sanjeev about this, that yes, the IPL will probably be in Mumbai and Pune and that area, but you've got to feed Marcus Lucknawi Biryani. You have to try Lucknawi Biryani, because Lucknow, in terms of food, is one of India's most, how do I put it, most celebrated heritage, the story of Lucknawi food, the royalty. If you love Indian food, you have to tell Sanjeev and Gautam and KL to give you Lucknawi Biryani. After one of your man of the match performances, Lucknawi Biryani for Marcus Stoinis.
That's it. And maybe instead of the cake on the face, we can all just sit down and have a nice Lucknow Biryani.
That should be the line. Cake on the face, come on. You can do that in Australia, but not you've got to try this out. I think it will be great. Last few minutes on the show, Marcus. What I want to understand this. I mean, every day, when several days you and I have spoken, and you've told me, I'm in training morning, afternoon. What is preparation like for Marcus Stoinis? Building up to a tournament like this, building up to a tour, a major World Cup, a major IPL. What is preparation like? Take me backstage.
Okay. Yeah, so at the moment it's pretty heavily focused on recovery, to be honest. I haven't had a stage over the last 8 months really to consolidate and to not look after the body, but I guess to slow down and shift the focus away from performance mode. So at the moment, I'm fortunate enough that I drag my girlfriend along with me. So she's in. We're in the sauna in the morning. We've been in the sauna every morning. She's nice enough to meditate with me because she knows I like these things. So I'll do those sort of things. I'm in the gym, but it's not so much strength. It's more rehab and that sort of stuff.
Will she come with you to India? Will she come with you to India?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, for sure. Whether it's the whole time or not, but yeah, she's planning on definitely coming over.
Excellent.
But yeah, so and then so it's mostly bowling and sauna and ice baths and having a hit and all those sort of stuff. But it's with that shift to recovery and that sort of thing. I'm fortunate enough to be using a hyperbaric chamber here, which I'm not sure if you know what that is, but it's just like an oxygen chamber that helps recovery. So these are the sort of things over this sort of maybe 15, 20-day period that I've got off that I've chosen to sort of spend my time focusing on that.
Last two questions before I let you go. One, do you do goals? That I've got to do this. I've been picked up as one of the leaders of the team. I have to do this for the team. Or is it, no, I will be there in the process, in the moment, in the zone and do my best. How do you approach your game?
Yeah, it's probably at that stage now where I definitely do set goals. And I'm at an interesting stage of my career now where something like this happens, where you're picked up early on before the auction for a brand new franchise. And I've just finished a World Cup. We've won as a team. And I've got 10 days off before the next tour starts and the next sort of pretty much 8 months of continuous cricket starts. So I'm at a stage now where I need to reset those goals and start planning not only for this year, but the next sort of 3 to 5 years, definitely. And then pretty much I work backwards from there. So I set my goals. I make it super simple as to what needs to happen to link those goals to where I am now, what that's going to look like, how that's going to feel. And the small steps that I need to take to do it. So yeah, I definitely do it, and I'm actually at a stage now where I need to do it actually in the next couple of days. Okay.
And final message has to be that you are a super giant now. The team is building you up on social media. They've put out a lot of tweets on you, etc. A message for the Lucknow fans, because everyone's looking forward to watching Marcus Stoinis, consuming Marcus Stoinis, seeing you in action, winning them games. There's a lot of anticipation and excitement. I've spoken to Sanjeev, I've spoken to KL, I've spoken to the whole Lucknow management, Gautam. A word on that and a word for your fans.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have the support of KL, Gautam, and Sanjeev, of course. And it's a great position for me to personally be in, but I also am excited about the opportunity to repay them for that as well. I'm excited to perform for Lucknow, the Super Giants, brand new team. It doesn't get any more exciting than to represent a brand new franchise. And I think back to someone like Shane Warne, who was involved from the start of IPL with a Rajasthan, and how he's still involved today, how he still goes over and coaches. He's still involved in nearly every season. I'm sure he helps out behind the scenes as well. So I think it's a very rare opportunity. And it's something that obviously that but that I jumped at with both hands. And then to the Lucknow fans, I'm super happy that this team is representing Lucknow. And ideally we'd be playing in Lucknow, but that might not be the case this year. But hopefully we do you proud, and we'll be doing everything we can to create the best environment for this team, and to represent Lucknow as best as we can.
Excellent. I leave it there. I leave it there, Marcus Stoinis. And as you said, maybe this is not the best time when we could physically do this, but at some point during the IPL or whenever, a plate of Lucknawi Biryani together, because you're a good man. I mean, and I'm excited personally to see you play and win games for Lucknow. Thank you very much for speaking to me, Marcus. All the very best with training and with everything else.
Appreciate it, Boria. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, thank you very much.